Les interviews du doc, c'est maintenant sur Vinyl Time.
Et ben voilà les amis, c'était une magnifique chanson écrite par notre ami Markus. Alors au chant, c'était le petit chanteur de TNT, Monsieur Tony Harnell. Voilà, il a une super voix. Il y a des très très bons chanteurs une nouvelle fois sur cet album. Alors ce qui est assez intéressant avec Barnabas Sky, c'est que si vous écoutez les différents albums, parce qu'il y en a 3 maintenant, vous pouvez voir différentes périodes de chanteurs, parce que dans les premiers albums, par exemple, il y avait Zach Stevens, il y avait Paul Sabou, il y avait Jesse Damon, voilà. Et puis en allant, Markus, il a travaillé avec d'autres chanteurs. Donc on voit une évolution dans Barnabas Sky aujourd'hui. Et puis quand on écoute ce nouvel album Over the Horizon, je trouve que c'est le meilleur travail de Barnabas Sky à travers ces 3 albums. Alors je vous rappelle, le premier s'appelait Inspiration. Celui d'après s'appelait What's Come to Light, et aujourd'hui on parle de Over the Horizon with Markus. Markus, again, thank you so much to stay with me this afternoon. And first of all, thank you so much for accepting my invitation. And again, I'm so sorry for last Sunday about the issue with the technical issue, but now we are all together again, and we can speak a lot about this beautiful new Barnabas Skies. So Markus, thank you so much. So what is your feeling after this release, which is coming on 22 of August from Pride Joe Records? And I see a lot of fantastic review. I see some people discover some singer. And of course, we have to speak about the words with you, with Thomas Reeder, with you since the beginning. So what is your feeling, Markus, on Sunday just after the vacation?
Well, first of all, a few words in French. Merci beaucoup pour l'invitation et je suis très heureux d'être à nouveau parmi vous ce soir et je me réjouis de pouvoir vous parler de l'album Barnabas Sky. Ah, ça, non, un très petit peu de français. Je comprends le français, mais parler c'est difficile, so I switch to English. Well, thank you very much for the invitation. And yes, I'm actually really, really glad that the third album, I think, gets the best reaction so far from the albums I did so far. If you ask me, of course, the first album will always be very special because it was the first time I was working with people like Danny Vaughan, Zach Stevens, Rob Rock, really heroes of my youth when I started to play the guitar. But with the second album, I had experimentation with some songs with guitar synthesizers, and I think with this third album, I tried to make this something well-rounded. Even if several singers are singing different kind of songs, I wanted to have this album be like a well-rounded thing, and I think I succeeded because this is what most reviewers actually write. So if you ask me how I feel, I'm really glad about the positive reactions, of course.
Ah voilà les amis, vous l'avez compris. Alors au début, Markus, il a parlé un petit peu français, il nous a fait plaisir pour tous ceux qui voulaient savoir si Markus allait nous faire un petit mot en français, il l'a fait. Si vous voulez faire des petits mots en allemand, vous n'hésitez pas, il est dans le chat, il va vous répondre en allemand, on va rigoler. Voilà, si on revient à cet album, comme il le dit, il y a eu il y a plein de bonnes choses parce qu'effectivement les retours sont très bons et depuis le début effectivement de ce projet Barnabas Sky, il y a eu plein de bonnes choses. Au début, comme je vous le disais, le premier album qui s'appelle Inspiration, il y avait, comme il le dit, il y avait des gens comme Rob Rock, Zach Stevens, Dan Vaughan. Voilà, ça reste du très lourd et il a apprécié effectivement le temps de travailler avec ces gens qui étaient effectivement ces chanteurs qui sont des héros et bien sûr pour nous des gens qu'on aime bien. Et aussi dans le premier album, tiens, il a oublié de dire, Markus, on the first one you work with one of my favorite singers for a long time, which is called Steve Grimmett.
Ah, yeah. And I think actually it was, well, what can I say? It was tragic because I was spending my holiday in the south of Bavaria and it was my birthday. My birthday is in July, actually. And Steve sent me a birthday message, a very nice birthday message. I did not even know he knows, when my birthday is. Yeah. And I was so glad. And I replied and I said, I'm on holiday. I'm not having much time. I'll write a little more later. A few weeks later, he was dead. I was getting up and reading the Facebook messages all over that Steve Grimmett died. And I was like, ooh. And I think that the song he sang on the first Barnabas Sky album might have been the last recording he ever did. I don't know. I did not dare to ask his wife because, they have other things to deal with than asking what the last recording of his was during his lifetime. But actually, I think at least it was the last song he released before he actually died. Yeah, and it was very easy working with him. I was writing that song, which was later called Never Enough. And I knew this would be a perfect song for him because I was listening to Grim Reaper,
Yeah.
And
see you in hell, my friend. See you in hell.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, how can I get a hold of this? And I was writing to Stu Marshall of Empires of Eden. That's the guitar player from Australia, because I knew that Steve Grimmett and he recorded some songs together. So he gave me Steve's email address. And I remember very fondly that I was writing an email message to Steve if he would like to join the Barnabas Sky project, because I got up very early a Saturday morning, something like 7:30 in the morning on a Saturday, and I wrote to him, and he replied within, 1.5 minutes, because I sent him the song. He said, "Hey, that's a cool song. Yeah, I'm in it." So, yeah, that's my story with Steve Grimmett, and I'm really glad that I managed to work with him. Yeah, because as you see, you never know when it's too late.
Yeah. Bah voilà, on a juste un petit peu dérapé parce qu'on parlait effectivement du premier album. On va revenir sur le nouvel album Over the Horizon, mais voilà, Markus nous a partagé, et encore une fois merci, thank you Markus to share this memory, because that's effectively so difficult when we record something and we have some message, and couple of days after the guy passing, and it's a real surprise for a lot of people, of course. Voilà, on parlait un petit peu de Steve Grimmett, les amis, qui joue un titre du premier album qui s'appelle Inspiration. Le morceau s'appelle Never Enough. Si vous voulez aller écouter ce titre et cet album, tiens, ça vous fera l'occasion de comparer les différentes productions de Markus sur Barnabas Sky, tiens, pourquoi pas. Et puis voilà, comme il dit, il a envoyé un petit mot pour son anniversaire, et vous avez compris l'histoire. Il y a aussi, les amis, plein de choses intéressantes, parce qu'il y a eu des évolutions sur les différents chanteurs qui ont joué avec Markus sur le projet, mais il y en a qui sont quand même restés souvent. Et un de ceux qui est resté souvent, c'est Danny Vaughan. Et Markus travaille depuis le début sur ce projet Barnabas Sky avec Danny Vaughan. On va lui demander un petit peu comment ça se passe. Markus, sorry. Markus, it's a long story with Danny, because with Danny Vaughan, because we are all together, and as usual, we are so forever young. You work with Danny since the beginning of the project, and Danny opened the new one as usual for Over Horizon. What is the feeling that you have when you have to share and to play and to create something for Danny, because it's one of the most important voice of melodic rock. It's one of the singer who is not lost anything. This voice stay the same since the beginning of singing, in fact. So what is your approach when you have to select some songs to provide for some singer, because you have so multiple singer, and we can speak after that about your different singer with you on this project. But I think Danny is one of your most principal actors on this different Barnabas Sky project.
Well, actually, Barnabas Sky, I had this idea of doing this Barnabas Sky project during the pandemic in 2021. And actually, I was writing emails to some singers, several singers, that I thought I might like to work with them. And I sent them songs because I had songs I imagined, like I had a riff. I was like, this is a riff. It sounds like Taiketo. So why not have Danny Vaughan sing this song? You know, that was the song which later became "Say Farewell to Darker Days," and actually Danny Vaughan was the very first singer who replied and said, "Yes, I am in with this." So when I saw that Danny Vaughan, really the singer of my favorite band when I was starting to play in bands myself, when I saw that he is willing to work with me, you know, that gave me the self-confidence to make this become the project it finally became. And actually, he was the first one to say yes. And this is the reason why he is part of all 3 albums. And also, this is the reason why he is singing the first song on every album, because his yes was the beginning and to say the birth of Barnabas Sky.
Bah voilà, The Birth. Bah voilà, vous l'avez compris, les amis. Alors c'est la naissance de Barnabas Sky avec Danny Vaughan. Il avait écrit, comme le dit simplement Markus, plein de chansons. Et puis il y en avait une qui sonnait vraiment comme Taiketo. Il s'est dit, bah tiens, pourquoi pas demander à Danny si ça le brancherait de venir faire, de venir poser sa voix sur ce titre. Et puis il a été un des premiers à répondre tout de suite oui. Il a été partant et ça a été l'élément déclencheur pour créer le projet Barnabas Sky. Et puis Danny, il est depuis Danny Vaughan, hein, on parle de Danny Vaughan, les amis. Il est sur le projet depuis le début et ça marque beaucoup de choses. Markus, you work with a lot of different singers, like Danny, of course. We speak a couple of minutes ago with about Tony Harnell on these fantastic songs, The Only Way. And in meantime, you have the chance to discover some new singer. And I would like to speak a couple of minutes about Debis Artigas Venegas, who is coming from Venezuela, in fact, and. My question is just very simple. Oh, you discover these guys, and it's coming since What Comes to Light. It's coming back again on this Over the Horizon. So, what is this idea? Because it's so difficult sometimes to find a good singer, but where came the idea to engage guys from Venezuela?
That's a good question. And I did not discover him myself, actually. But... you know the Rock Hard magazine, of course, because it is in France also. And the German Rock Hard magazine, there is a guy writing for it. His name is Stefan Glas. And Stefan Glas went to the same school as I did in Landstuhl. And he had a fanzine called Underground Empire in the 90s. And we were close friends when I was, around the time when I was always listening to Taiketo. Actually, Stefan Glas got to review the first Barnabas Sky album for the German Rock Hard. And we got in touch after not having really lots of contact during the last 20 years. And then, like half a year after the release of the first album, he wrote me an email and said, "Hey, Markus, if you do a second album with Barnabas Sky, why not have a young singer join in on the project instead of all these old men that you are working with, you know?" Because he had a CD to review from a band called Pre-Incarnation. That's a German prog metal band, and they recorded an album featuring Debis Artigas Venegas from Venezuela. So I got in touch with the band, I think with the drummer of the band, and got his email address and asked him, "Hey, Debis, what do you think of being on an album with guys like Danny Vaughan and Doogie White?" And he was like, "You must be kidding, you know?" Anyway, he recorded 2 songs for the second album. Actually, Over the Horizon, which became the title track of the recent album, it was already finished 3 years ago. But I thought the song is so strong that I kept it for the next album. And I made it become the title song because I thought it might be quite interesting to have an unknown singer sing the title track, because everyone will listen differently to this song, because most of the singers are known. Maybe not many people know Conny Lind from Amaze Me, a Swedish band, but Dybis is commonly unknown. But I think he does not have to hide behind any of the big names because he has an incredible voice and a really big range. And just one comment, he's not living in Venezuela anymore. He moved to Spain and he is playing in different cover bands, I think in the north of Spain somewhere.
Ah voilà, vous l'avez compris. Alors on parle un petit peu de tous ces grands. On va vous donner tous ces grands chanteurs qui jouent sur cet album Over the Horizon. Et puis il y en a un qui était qui est plus surprenant. Il venait du Venezuela, mais maintenant il habite plutôt en Espagne, comme le dit Markus. Et il s'appelle Debis Artigas Venegas. Alors si vous écoutez le morceau Over the Horizon, c'est peut-être un des meilleurs morceaux de l'album. Il y a vraiment beaucoup de très bons titres, mais celui-là il est un petit peu plus surprenant parce que c'est quelqu'un qu'on découvre. Et donc l'histoire derrière ça, pour Markus, c'était il a un ami qui travaille chez Rockard, vous l'avez compris, et puis ils ont échangé sur les contacts autour du groupe. Il a eu le batteur, et puis ils ont réussi à échanger sur le sujet. Et puis c'est comme ça qu'est arrivé Debis Artigas, qui était sur l'album d'avant, What Come to Light. Et puis il a chanté 2 chansons, et celle-là il l'a gardée parce qu'il avait trouvé que c'était vraiment il fallait le garder pour autre chose. Voilà. Et donc cette chanson, je vais y arriver les amis, s'appelle Over the Horizon. Elle est sur le nouvel album de Barnabas Sky. Pour ceux qui viennent de nous rejoindre, on est avec Markus Pfeffer. On parle du Barnabas Sky de Over the Horizon. L'album est disponible depuis le 22 août. Il est sorti via Pride and Joe Music. C'est le 3e album. C'est pas le 3e album de Markus, c'est le 3e album de Barnabas Sky. Bien sûr, Markus, vous le retrouvez notamment dans Winterland, vous le retrouvez dans Lazarus Dream, vous le retrouvez dans plein de choses. C'est un homme qui n'arrête jamais. C'est un forcené de la musique. Et puis on s'était dit ce soir que ça serait bien d'en parler. Markus, one thing about this cover behind you, because I just nobody see you. I'm see you right now, but I see a fantastic cover. This Over the Horizon is again a fantastic cover since the beginning, because each cover coming from Barnabas Sky, it's a great one. I think it's coming from again someone that you know in France, no? No, for this one.
Actually, this time not, because I was trying, actually with Over the Horizon, I thought I might try a new guy doing artwork because just I wanted to try something new. And this cover was made by someone from Argentina. It's a very young guy from Argentina. His name is Nicolas Oliveros, and he did this Over the Horizon cover, which was the first one he did for me, and actually he also did the cover for the recent Winterland album.
Okay. Yeah. So j'ai dit...
No Frenchman, unfortunately.
No, but we have Joris playing with you. So
yeah, that's right. Yeah, he did the string arrangement on The Only Way. Yeah.
Ah voilà, vous avez compris les amis. Alors c'est pas vous avez le nom de la personne, c'est un Argentin donc qui a fait l'album. C'est pas notre ami. Je tairai le nom de notre ami français qui fait beaucoup de beaux covers. Et donc comme le dit Markus, moi je trouve que le cover il est magnifique. C'est un petit peu un mixte de science-fiction avec un ciel incroyable et puis ce très beau logo de Barnabas Sky dessus. On dirait un mix entre Halloween, Gamma Ray, Iron Maiden. Il y a plein de choses à l'intérieur de cette pochette. Voilà, elle est magnifique. Elle vaudrait un beau vinyle. Tiens, ça serait bien que ça soit sorti en vinyle. Markus, what do you think to have this one in vinyl? It would be great.
I would love to, but it always depends on how many units the record label thinks they might be able to sell. And as far as I know, vinyl is only possible if you can be sure to sell at least 1,000 copies. And it's hard. It's hard to sell 1,000 copies of vinyl today if you are not a touring band. If you're a touring band, you can sell every night at a concert, but if you're a studio project, it's very hard to get to sell 1,000 vinyl copies. So I think it might not be possible to have it, but of course I would love to have it.
Maybe I have to talk with Birgit.
Yeah. You can try.
Bon voilà, on avait une petite boutade sur le fait d'avoir ce magnifique disque, pourquoi pas en vinyle. Bon, vous savez que j'en touche un rayon en vinyle parce que bon, on en produit quelques-uns, mais on n'en sort que 200 exemplaires. Voilà, c'est des petits vinyles collector. Peut-être qu'à l'occasion, avec Markus, on pourrait sortir un vinyle collector de 200 exemplaires. Voilà, pourquoi pas, histoire de faire plaisir à tout le monde et de faire plaisir à Markus, parce que voilà, moi je suis très content de partager avec Markus notre passion autour de la musique. Markus, few words about the guys who is working with you, because we're speaking about, of course, Debis, we're speaking about Tony Arnell, we're speaking about Danny Vogt, but we have to talk about Dirk Kennedy, Dave Kegel, Lee Small, voilà, and Connie Lind. So we have a lot of different singers again on this project. It's not so hard to find everybody singing what you want and provide the sounds correctly, and after that create a real album, because so many people working everywhere in different countries. And what is your feeling? Sometimes it's really coming very fast, or sometimes you have to resend something or speak a lot with this one singer because it's not what you expect?
No. I only had, I think, with the 3 Barnabas Sky albums, it happened twice that a singer was actually telling me, after trying for several weeks, that he could not get into the song that I wrote for him. And I think it's good that they are honest saying that, because then I said, okay, forget the song. I took the song, yeah, and one song I deleted, the other song I gave to another singer. So that only happened twice. Usually, it does not happen that I get vocals or lyrics that I don't like, because I usually only write the music, and I give the music to the singers and say, okay, here's the music I wrote for you. Now you write the words and the melodies. And I can write words and melodies, but I don't feel like doing so. I don't like to write words. It's not something that makes me feel good. You know, it's like, if I have to do it, it feels like a job.
Yeah.
So I want the singers to write their own lyrics, because I think if they write their own words, they will be more authentic singing them. So that never happened. Actually, a few singers started working on something and then they disappeared and never replied anymore. That also happened. But with the guys that you have on the albums, working with them was very smoothly, like with Connie Lind. Just to add that story, I discovered Connie Lind because in the second half of the 1990s, we started Winterland, and we are starting to getting really good reviews in magazines. And we were always the last band mentioned, because Winterland, V, is at the end of the alphabet.
Yes.
And the very first one was always Amaze Me, which starts with an A.
Yeah.
And it was funny because Amaze Me was a band with 2 people also. They had one guy who died a few years ago, unfortunately, who was responsible for the instruments and the music, and one guy who was responsible for the singing, which was Connie Lind. So a few years ago, I just remembered this coincidence of this two people projects, Winterland and Amaze Me, one always the first being reviewed and one always the last being reviewed. And I thought it might just be funny to like, you know, combine these 2 projects. And I wrote to Connie, I sent him the songs, and he asked me if I have an idea concerning the subject. And I said, why not write a funny song about Facebook? And I think a week later, he came up with Book of Faces, which of course is a more satirical way of dealing with the subject of social media and Facebook in particular. So it was very easy.
Bah voilà, donc c'était une petite question à Markus. Comme vous l'avez compris, il travaille avec beaucoup de différents chanteurs. Alors, je voulais savoir si c'était difficile d'écrire des titres, d'envoyer, d'avoir les paroles, de réussir à rentrer dans les clous, on va dire. Alors comme il l'a dit, pour certains, bah, il y en a qui ont reçu, mais qui sont jamais revenus. Et puis il y en a d'autres, voilà, qui sont très actifs et qui ont vraiment participé dans le projet. C'est notamment le cas avec Connie Lind. Alors vous l'avez compris, Connie Lind, il jouait dans un groupe qui s'appelle Amaze Me. Et comme le dit Markus, c'était marrant hein, parce que Amaze Me dans les chroniques, ça commence par A et puis Winterland, ils sont W, donc ils sont plutôt à la fin. Bon, il y a juste ZZ Top après, donc ça va. Il y a encore un petit peu de place pour Winterland. Hein. Et puis comme ils ont, ça a bien matché ensemble. Ils ont échangé et puis à un moment donné, Markus a proposé à Connie de faire quelque chose. Ils ont dit ok, vous voulez quoi comme qu'est-ce que tu veux comme sujet? Tiens, on ferait bien un sujet autour de Facebook. Voilà, et c'est devenu Book of Faces. C'est un excellent morceau, c'est le 6e morceau de l'album. Les amis, l'album s'appelle Over the Horizon. Il est disponible depuis le 22 août. J'espère que vous allez l'écouter. Markus, before we ending again, I know that you have a lot of projects and I'm pretty sure we can reinvent you in a couple of weeks to speak with your new project. So what is Markus your next I would like to say next step or maybe next stop. I don't know which words can I use right now.
Yeah, I stop. I will never stop. Yeah, so like someone wrote in the chat, if I have so many times of vacation. No, I only have 30 days of free days every year. But I'm a very well organized person, if I might say that. And before I joined in on the interview, I was working on a new song for Mystery Moon, actually. So to answer your question, I have 11 songs for the new Mystery Moon album, and Rob Lundgren, the Swedish singer, is actually, he's right now working on the 4th song where he is recording lyrics and vocals. I think it will become a really great album, but it will not be released before next year. Actually, the music for the next Winterland album is also ready, and I'm starting to work on a 4th Lazarus Dream album.
Of course,
so
of course.
It might be that all 3 could be released next year, but I don't know. Because it always depends on how quick the singers are writing the lyrics. I'm done with the music.
So I have to block 3 dates right now, Markus. So I have to coming back to you with 3 new dates for 2026.
Yeah.
Bah voilà, vous l'avez compris. Alors, comme Markus est bien organisé et puis comme il le dit, il arrêtera jamais d'écrire de la musique. Il y a déjà des titres qui sont prêts pour Mystery Moon. Il y a des titres qui sont prêts pour Winterland. Il y a des titres qui sont prêts pour Lazarus Dream. On réécoutera sans doute de ces nouveaux titres l'année prochaine. Et puis on va se faire plaisir d'écouter pas mal de Over the Horizon, ce nouveau Barnabas Sky, parce que c'est un très bon album. Again, one word before we ending, Markus, because the last song is coming from someone called Dirk Kennedy, and I would like to share one by one because it's a huge one. And a lot of people discover the songs this week because my partner in crimes, Arag Melodica, in 230 Rock, passed this song a couple of times during this week, and a lot of people said, "What a fantastic songs! Wow!" And I would like to close this interview with some words from you regarding One by One. Where is coming the idea to work again with Dirk Kennedy? Because it's not coming only on this Over the Horizon, it's coming from some other stuff and so on. So just few words before we ending about this song, Markus?
Yeah, One by One was actually the last new song I recorded for the album. Originally, I only wanted to have 9 songs on the album because it would have been long enough. We have many long songs. The title song is 7 minutes. The last song with Dirk Kennedy has 9 minutes. But I had a very hard time in my personal life in late last year because my partner was very ill and I did not know if he might actually die. And I wrote this song and sent it to Dirk Kennedy. And the interesting thing was that in his family, a very close person had died during these days. So he had a kind of similar experience. Luckily, my partner did not die, and he was feeling better some months later. But One by One, of course, deals with losing people you love. And it's a very dark song. It's rather dark. It's not typical Barnabas Sky. But since I sent it to him and he said he has kind of similar situation in his life, yeah, that was a little strange, to say the least. It was some kind of destiny, I'd say. So you can hear that the lyrics he sings, you can hear how he felt about the situation. It has lots of emotion, and the emotion you hear in this song is, it's real and it's fresh because he just, lost a person close to himself. So it's probably one of the darkest songs I ever recorded, but maybe also one of the most intense ones.
Bah voilà, vous l'avez compris. Alors la chanson One by One, elle est très. On va l'écouter dans un instant. C'est une chanson très forte humainement parce que, comme le dit Markus, ça parle des gens qui sont décédés. Markus avait un problème aussi avec sa moitié, et puis ça a été une période très compliquée. Et donc quand Dirk a écrit la chanson, il venait de perdre quelqu'un. Donc c'est là où on voit que c'est très très fort. Ça prend les tripes. C'est une chanson, une des très très bonnes chansons de l'album de Barnabas Sky. Une nouvelle fois, ce Over the Horizon, celle-là elle est très bonne, on va l'écouter. Markus, juste une question qui vient de tomber dans le chat une nouvelle fois par mon ami Arag Melodica, qui nous suit, qui nous piste, qui veut pas nous laisser écouter un peu de musique. Il demande si he said, "Would you be interested for recording some young bands?"
If I would be recording young bands,
yeah, if you are interested to record or to help some young bands coming on melodic rock or classic rock or something like that.
It depends on what helping means. If that means writing songs for them, yeah, why not? I was just recently writing 3 songs for a band from Switzerland because the songs were they needed songs for their new album. If helping means writing songs for other bands, yes, of course, because I write way too many songs for my own albums. So, if this is the question, my answer would be yes. If the question would be producing or working with bands in a rehearsal room, I would not do that because I know that whenever you have 5 people in a room, ego comes in the way, and it gets you have troubles, you have conflicts, and I'm too old for that. I don't like fighting with anyone in a rehearsal room anymore. I had that for many years, but yeah, I grew over that.
We're just waiting together, Markus, and that's all. Ouais, voilà, vous l'avez. J'ai ta réponse, Arag. Voilà, s'il veut voilà, ce que dit Markus, c'est très simple. Produire des groupes, non, parce que à un moment donné, dans le studio, il va y avoir des égos, ça va pas le faire, et puis il a plus envie de se battre avec ça. Par contre, écrire des titres, oui, il en a fait, il vient d'en faire 3 pour un groupe suisse, aider à écrire des titres, oui, puisqu'il en écrit toujours plein, il a toujours plein d'idées. Donc pourquoi pas. Voilà les amis, on est avec Markus, une nouvelle fois Markus Pfeffer. On parle de Barnabas Sky. On va clôturer cette interview avec le morceau One by One. On va remercier une nouvelle fois Markus d'être venu nous parler. Il est chez Vinyl Time, il est comme chez lui en fait, donc il vient quand il veut, il nous fait signe, et puis voilà, on est toujours très très heureux de parler musique. Alors oui, il y a Arag qui met Fighting for Rock. Bah ouais, on pourrait même écouter Fighting for the World. Le morceau de Warrior, c'est quoi? C'est Fighting for je me souviens plus le morceau de Warrior, qui est un excellent morceau. Tu vas me le dire, Arag, dans un instant. Non, Fighting for the Earth, voilà, c'est ce morceau de Warrior, Fighting for the Earth, un des grands morceaux de heavy metal. Tiens, je vais peut-être le caler pour la fin de l'émission, tiens, si je le retrouve. Markus, again, thank you so much for this Sunday afternoon. I take a couple of minutes to your creation time, sorry.
No problem. Thank you for the invitation. Always glad being back with you.
Markus, do you before we ending, do you have some words for the people who discover the project? Maybe right now, Barnabas Sky, and just after we can listen one by one the darkest songs of this album.
Well, yes, if anyone did not know Barnabas Sky before, I just can say, listen to the songs you can find on YouTube, to the videos. We have cool videos with Danny Martinez, with Jesse Damon, with Dear Kennedy. And yeah, just listen to the songs and enjoy them as much as I do. It's all a work with a lot of heart in it. I'm doing this because I feel this music. I'm not doing this to make money from it. I don't actually, but I really have a lot of heart in Barnabas Sky, and I think you hear it. So enjoy it, and I hope you enjoy it as much as I do.
Markus, thank you so much. Ben, on va écouter tout de suite One by One. Markus, that's again, thank you again for your time and a great pleasure to share your music again and again. Let's go for One by One.
Ja, merci beaucoup.